12 stands for local news. And now, from Arizona's #1 choice for local news, this is 12 News at 5.
Each time they hit the court, the Lady Sun Devils race to beat the clock. They know what it's like to fight for every second when you're running out of time. It's the same for victims of breast cancer. That's why the ASU women's basketball team and other local organizations have teamed up to fight the disease.
It's just a lot bigger than a college women's basketball game. You know, it's really, we've tried to make it about this community.
They call it Hoops for the Cure Classic. On December 27th, the Sun Devils will take on the Tennessee Lady Vols under the stars at the Bank One ballpark. And they'll make history. This would be the first outdoor women's collegiate basketball game ever.
For the capacity and for the uniqueness. I mean, we want to play an outdoor game. Barring snow or hail or very heavy rain, the roof will be open.
The Sun Devils hope they can sell more than 24,000 seats in the ballpark because a portion of the proceeds will fight breast cancer right here in the valley.
So it's money that's going to be used in particular to some disadvantaged communities for treatment and research. It truly has no downside. I mean, it's just going to be a win-win for everybody involved.
Hello? It's still not clear whether using a cell phone is dangerous enough to put you in the hospital, but if you are a patient, those fancy pocket phones can be dangerous to your health.
They might just think that it's a convenience factor and we don't want the phones ringing. They don't realize that can actually interfere with patient care.
A cell phone in use can interrupt signals sent by medical equipment in the hospital. Everything from neonatal equipment to machines that keep the heart beating.
Pumps that actually pump the heart of patients that are in with heart conditions, of machines that automatically dispense medication to patients. There could be a drug reaction, and it could affect the monitors, and we would not know what is going on with the patient and be able to deliver proper care. We've had some situations with some monitoring. Fortunately, nothing has been serious, and that's why we post the signs and try and let our staff know when they see people to let them know, please turn off your cell phones when you come in.
They're the most popular vehicle on the road, the sport utility. They're also the most likely to roll over in a single vehicle crash. That's according to a new government study.
Rollovers, even though they're a small percentage of all the crashes that occur, they are some of the deadliest. 10,000 people died last year in rollovers.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is now rating vehicles to figure out how top-heavy they are and how likely they are to roll over and run off the road. The least likely, a passenger car, the Honda Accord. It scored the highest with 5 stars. But 2 SUVs, the Blazer 4x2 and the GMC Jimmy 4x2, were rated the worst, each with 1 star. The study says their rollover risk is more than 40%. And the best-selling SUV, the Ford Explorer, isn't much better. It's likely to roll over 30 to 40% of the time in a single vehicle crash. The news is not good for car makers who will have to try and reassure potential buyers. In a crash like this, you'd think no one could survive it, but a baby was able to live through this because he was strapped in a car seat.
And walking over, looking at that kid, you couldn't believe he was in the same vehicle. I mean, here's a little kid smiling, looking at us, acting appropriately without a mark on him.
Police say the child's parents were driving the car at least 90 miles an hour when they rear-ended a travel trailer. They were both in the front seat, pinned by the wreckage. The driver didn't survive, but the baby was untouched.
The little baby hadn't even cried.
And this 2-year-old boy was riding with his mother when a wrong-way driver slammed into them head-on. He survived, and so did his brother and sister. They were all buckled into car seats.
You know, regardless of anything, you strap your kids in, regardless if it takes an extra time, it means the difference. And this is a definite case where my kids probably would have all been dead.
It's been snowing on and off all day here in Heber. In fact, not much of an accumulation. A lot of what's still on the ground is from when it snowed the last time. But you know what? When you're young and you've never seen snow before, that doesn't matter. For 9-month-old Tristan Fogner, this is his first trip to the White Mountains and his first time in the snow.
And it snowed just a little bit, but not that much.
I kept looking last night.
Yeah, we've been watching all night long. Is it going to snow? Is it going to snow before we go home?
The Fogner family planned their time off around the latest winter storm set to hit Heber. They thought they'd be under 2 to 3 inches of snow by now.
Kind of disappointing. You only see a little bit right now, but snow is snow. so we'll take what we can get.
Well, they may have missed the latest winter storm, but 9-month-old Tristan isn't disappointed. In Heber, Tracye Hutchins, 12 News. The fight over the new Cardinal Stadium may be one of the toughest matchups the Valley has seen. East versus West. The proposed eastern site in Tempe is being endorsed financially by the Arizona Cardinals. They've had their home in Tempe for the last 12 years. Supporters say their site offers more benefits to tourists and existing businesses.
We have over 70 hotels in the area. We've got the attractions, the zoo, the botanical gardens, golf courses, the historical museum. They're all within walking distance of this site. Those are the things that will bring people to this area.
But the proposed West Valley site in Avondale is literally wide open. Supporters say there's more land and more opportunity for development.
The Cardinals originally said when we get a new home, the two things we want are access and surface parking. Access, you can't beat the access we have here.
A Valley woman says she got a call from a man who claimed he was an AT&T service technician. He wanted to test her phone line and asked her to press 90# and then hang up. Well, it's a good thing she hung up immediately, because in some cases doing that transfers full access to your telephone line to the scam artist, letting them make calls at your expense. Here's a few things to remember if someone asks you to dial 90#. Experts say the phone scam targets businesses, not residential customers. The scam generally only works on systems where you have to dial a 9 to get an outside line. And AT&T technicians or any other telephone company, well, they won't need to call your home phone to check your line. And if you get a call and think it's a scam, ask the caller for their number so you can call them back. And if you do get a suspicious call, report it to police and to your phone company. If you want to get a good idea of just how much the Valley has grown, take a look at Valley Schools. In Gilbert, 2,500 new students are added each year. Chandler and Mesa take in 1,000 new additions every year. And those growing pains are really starting to hurt because of a Valley-wide teacher shortage. And it's only expected to get worse nationwide. More teachers are reaching retirement age, and there are fewer new teachers to replace them. Just to meet education needs across the country, school districts will need to hire 40,000 to 50,000 new teachers in the next 5 years. So to try and get a jump start, districts like the Washington Elementary School District are holding career fairs to try and attract prospective teachers.
We have to work as a district to demonstrate the qualities and the benefits of working for Washington District, and then persuade those people to be part of our team.
Just in time for the Cactus League and spring training, new tourism taxes are kicking in. Thanks to Proposition 302, for the next 30 years, it'll cost a little more to be a visitor in Maricopa County. Sales taxes have increased for rental cars, hotels, motels, and restaurants. The new tax should raise close to $2 billion. About 1/3 of it going to pay for the new Cardinals' multi-million-dollar stadium. And some in the Valley think that's a bargain.
That's a good way to pay for it. You know, most of it will be paid by your out-of-town guests.
That ensures that people coming from out of state that go to the games are the ones who pay the tax, instead of having people who live here that don't even go to the games pay the tax. I think it's a good deal in that.
Put your mouth on here and go.
More than 300,000 adults and children in Arizona have asthma, but not all of them know it. It's why dozens of them were checked for the disease during a free asthma screening.
The people that don't have asthma need to know that if they're waking up at night and they can't breathe and they're coughing, they're short of breath, they're exercising and they're wheezing, that they need to go see their doctor.
If asthma is left untreated, it can lead to permanent lung damage or even death.
She had severe episodes or repeated episodes of coughing, wheezing, or shortness of breath.
The symptoms are common for children like little Alexis.
What does it feel like in your chest sometimes?
Kind of bad.
Sometimes, when he gets sick, he breathes kind of hard, and it's hard for us.
And for parents like Laura Westfall, knowing whether or not wheezing in the middle of the night is asthma can mean peace of mind.
It can be very stressful in the middle of the night. And you always wonder, do you need to go to the ER? Can you handle it at home? So it just will give me a better idea of what to expect.
And how to treat it and control it. It's the only way to have a healthy life with asthma. In Phoenix, Tracye Hutchins, 12 News. What started as a small trash fire within minutes turned into a raging blaze.
I brought my half a block away from this, and I can feel this heat on my stomach, and I ain't got no shirt on, so you can tell me that's
Hot as hell. And we got 8 guys.
More than 100 firefighters were called in to try and control the fire that swallowed an Ace hardware store and the first Southwest supermarket in the valley. The fire burned so hot, within minutes, it was through the roof. Firefighters sent in to save the building now had to save themselves.
All units evacuate the building. All units on the roof get off the roof. This fire's going defensive. Engine 4 to alert mayday. What's your mayday? Firefighter down. Southwest corner of the structure. We know there's firefighter in the southwest corner. We need more manpower, and we need people to get the fire off of it.
More than 200 Tucson officers who are usually prepared for anything now have to be ready for U of A fans. After the Wildcats' victory over Michigan State this weekend, officers started getting ready for tonight. Canisters of tear gas were handed out, plastic handcuffs tested, and protective shields were taken out of storage. Unlike the lethal weapons officers usually use, tonight many will be armed with this gun, designed to pack a punch with beanbags instead of bullets. The plan is to prevent what happened the last time the Wildcats won the NCAA championship. On April 1st, 1997, more than 300 officers wore riot gear and had to use tear gas to break up crowds throughout the night. Bottles were thrown and several businesses and cars were damaged. This time, police say they're ready if the celebration gets out of control again.
You try and err on the side of caution. There's a lot of people whose livelihoods are in these businesses along 4th Avenue and 6th Street in the university area, and we are responsible for protecting their interests. We're also responsible for making sure that nobody gets hurt out here. I would much rather answer questions as to why we over-prepared than answer questions as to why we weren't prepared.
Friends of 13-year-old Brittany Fisher wanted to place flowers in front of her home, the same place she's believed to have died Tuesday morning.
I thought it couldn't be true because she was such a good person, and then I saw it on the news, and I didn't know what to think.
Well involved, exposure to the west, possibly starting on
What
fire.
she saw was the Fishers' home engulfed in flames, ignited by a violent explosion. Inside, firefighters found the bodies of a woman and 2 children.
She wasn't mean to anyone. She was sweet, and she just did not deserve to die.
People could be like so mean to her, but she would always be so nice. It's nothing ever bothered her.
Police have not identified the victims, but say Mary Fisher and her children, Brittany and 10-year-old Robert Fisher Jr., are missing. And so is their father, 40-year-old Robert Fisher Sr. Police say he's not considered a suspect in the explosion, but investigators do want to talk to him. It could be some time before firefighters find the exact cause of the blast, but the only thing friends of Brittany Fisher want to know is why.
It's not right for someone to be such a good person and just not deserve to die, and she died.
While their work inside the burned-out Fisher home has ended, investigators have been busy. They're still looking for 40-year-old Robert Fisher, now named as the prime suspect in the deaths of his wife and 2 children. For more than a week, there's been no sign of Fisher, the family's silver SUV, or the family dog. Investigators are said to be searching the Arizona backcountry, where Fisher spent much of his time as an outdoorsman. Investigators have also executed a search warrant to go through some of Robert Fisher's property. A judge sealed that warrant to make sure the investigation of the Fisher family deaths wasn't jeopardized by becoming public record. Investigators want to make sure the suspect or suspects don't try to destroy any evidence, like they destroyed the Fishers' home. 2 children in less than 1 hour nearly drowned in buckets of water. The first call firefighters got was in Avondale. A 1-year-old girl fell headfirst into a 5-gallon bucket filled with water and cleanser. She'd been under for nearly 2 minutes. Just 40 minutes later, across town, another call. This time, a 1-year-old boy fell into a 5-gallon bucket filled with 6 inches of water. Firefighters think he may have been under for as long as 5 minutes.
Kids that age are extremely vulnerable. They're top heavy because of the size of their head, and they don't have the arm strength to pull themselves out.
Firefighters show just how easy it can be for a child to fall in by using a doll and a bucket of water. Even though bucket drownings are somewhat rare in the valley, this is the 3rd incident in less than a week. And firefighters know they have a long summer ahead. These cameras aren't just catching red light runners, according to a new study. They're preventing serious car accidents. The Insurance Institute of Highway Safety focused on a California city where red light cameras were installed. It discovered that crashes where people were hurt dropped by nearly 30% at those intersections. The police say the red light cameras have even changed the way people drive. Because they know the cameras are there, they slow down and make sure to stop on red. More than 800 people across the country are killed every year in red light running accidents. And this new study gives hope that those cameras may help save some lives. When you're hiking on a mountain trail, anything can happen. It's why taking a cell phone could help get you out of trouble. But it won't guarantee rescuers will be able to find you if you can't tell them where you are. But a new bill heading to the governor's desk would change that. Higher taxes would be used to pay for new equipment, so emergency operators can figure out the general area that a cell phone call is coming from. Under the bill, residential customers would pay an extra 21 cents a month, and cell phone customers would pay an additional 27 cents a month. The bill would raise about $56 million over the next 5 years for a new and improved 911 system. By the late 1880s, the Globe Miami area became a hotspot for some of Arizona's earliest prospectors. Gold and silver resources were dwindling, but the demand for copper was on the rise. Mining became the area's #1 industry.
If it weren't for mining, we probably wouldn't even be here.
And today, you don't have to look far to see copper mining is still a major part of Globe and Miami. More than 20% of jobs in the area are related to mining and copper production.
A huge economic impact because the mines pay well. And those people generally spend their money here.
For one of the biggest copper companies, Phelps Dodge, mining in the area has been profitable.
It will always be, to a certain degree, a mining-centered community, a mining-centered economy.
But in an uncertain global economy, the company says they have to stay competitive, and that can sometimes mean layoffs.
We're continuously looking for ways in which we can improve our workforce and our process, and if there are ways or means that we can economize, we in fact do that on a daily basis, really.
Just when you thought it would be cheaper to hit the road for summer vacation, gas prices soar again. AAA Arizona says prices in the valley are the highest they've been since 1990. Statewide, they average $1.65 a gallon, and in Phoenix, $1.68. Though gas prices have already hit the $2 mark in Chicago, industry experts say don't expect them to reach as high as $3. They say refineries are stepping up production in Europe to meet the demand in the States. You've seen the protests and heard the appeals Arizona teachers have made for more money.
Honk for teachers! Support us!
Now, 2 new surveys say teachers across the country aren't getting paid enough. The National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers says the average teacher salary last school year was nearly $42,000, barely enough to keep up with inflation. In Arizona, the average is even worse, just $35,000 a year. That puts our state close to the bottom of the list near South Dakota, which pays teachers on average just over $29,000. And at the top of the list, New York, which pays close to $52,000 a year. But education experts say that's still not a high enough price to put on the people who help shape the nation's future. You've heard it before, prevention starts early.
Se me está cayendo.
And it starts right here at Isaac Preschool in Phoenix.
The school can't work alone and the parent can't work alone. The greater success comes when they work together.
You can find a parent and students working together every day in every classroom. It's a commitment parents make to their children and to themselves by agreeing to get their own education. Parents like Josie Gutierrez. She dropped out at age 14, but now, 12 years later, she's getting her GED, making sure her children stay in school.
My kids love school because of the fact that I'm involved with them. The parents have to be involved for the kids to love it, and the more the kids are involved, then the more they want to learn and stuff.
It doesn't just drop off after 1 or 2 years. You see that those parents are the parents that continue to stay active in their children's education.
They've already seen the success. By the time these kids get to elementary school, the ones who were considered more likely to fail are performing at or above the level of their peers.
You've got to work every day to make a difference and to help support the families the best that you can so that those children do not fall through the cracks.
Civil rights groups and even some county leaders have been complaining about the cameras inside Madison Street Jail since they went online. But now an inmates' rights group is putting a dollar amount with their disdain. They plan on filing a $1.3 billion lawsuit against Sheriff Joe Arpaio. The suit claims the sheriff's office broke the law by using the cameras for purposes other than security. Right now, anyone around the world can log on to the website and take a live look at inmates inside Madison Street Jail. Despite a number of protests, Sheriff Arpaio has said he'll keep the cameras up and running. He says the cameras allow internet users to see just how hard life is behind bars. On the verge of Arizona's fire season, crews are getting geared up for a long, hot summer. But this year, the Forest Service isn't just dealing with controlling the wildfire danger. They're trying to do it with fewer people. There's a shortage of qualified firefighters across the country, and Arizona is also feeling the pinch. The government is set to hire more than 8,000 new firefighters, most of them going to the Forest Service. But so far, only about 6,000 of those positions have been filled, and many by people with little or no experience fighting wildfires. It's why prescribed burns like today are so important. If fire crews can keep the danger low, they'll increase their odds for a safer fire season. You've seen the crash test vehicles go through to get a safety rating. People rely on them to find out what make and model is the best to buy. Well, now the government says they want to give consumers the same confidence by rating healthcare providers. Soon we'll be able to find numeric ratings for nursing homes, Medicare health plans, and eventually hospitals and even doctors. The Healthcare Financing Administration plans to use newspaper ads, toll-free numbers, and the internet to get the information to the public. The ratings will be based on about 6 criteria, including everything from medical credentials to the number of employees a facility uses. Supporters of the rating system say it'll give consumers something they never had before, the power and the knowledge to shop around for the best health care. You've heard of Dolly, the cloned sheep, but is the world ready for a cloned human? This team of international scientists say they're ready to create human clones for 200 infertile couples. They'll clone the DNA from either the husband or wife to form an embryo, then implant the embryo in the wife to start a pregnancy.
We want the world to know that we're very confident, we know what we're doing, we've done it before, not this type, but other technologies, and we do intend to do it right.
But other scientists say cloning is a mistake for ethical and health reasons. It could result in severe deformities.
Their liver, their lungs, their heart, their blood vessels, their placental vessels, and the placenta itself are often abnormal at birth.
Despite the risks, scientists say they're ready to start human cloning as early as November. Tracye Hutchins, 12 News. It's the mad rush you can set your clock by every year, back to school shopping. But this year, tighter budgets mean a little less spending, about $527 for clothes and other school supplies. That means many more teens will be looking for bargains. Even though the local mall is still the favorite shopping destination before heading back to school, about 1 in 5 teens plans to do their shopping over the internet. And their favorite brands? Well, mostly those with style and plenty of comfort. This year, you'll see more names like Tommy Hilfiger, Nike, Adidas, Old Navy, and The Gap on both teen boys and girls. And experts say more and more of those teens are looking to celebrities and MTV personalities who've set the trends this year. In Phoenix, Tracye Hutchins, 12 News.